obviously, you guys have all heard about the CHIP grant program that we're going to release the applications tonight. Uh, First and foremost, I'll tell you, normally, if you've been through this process before, we hand them out tonight, we pick them back, or we give them back tomorrow here at City Hall or at my office in Austintown. All that information is in here. I know. That, normally we would do it the next day. That's why I want to make the point that we're not doing this until Friday. They're not coming back. So, in the past, we've done it the very next morning. This will be available on the Mahoney County website. If you go to the commissioners tomorrow, for any of you that need to pass out information to your families or friends that want to apply, it'll be up there tomorrow morning on my website. I don't know if you can get it on your website. I'll pass it out. Whatever I have left here, I'm going to leave with you guys. I will get you the PDF copy if you want to print some more. If you want to call me, we can print some more later. And I don't know if has anybody ever applied before? Not a whole lot. Well, that's good. I mean, we're servicing some new people and things like that. Because I like when it's not the same people year after year after year after year. So historically we've been pretty lucky here. Normally we pass out 50 or 60 and we get 20 or so back. We're going to probably be in 10 to 11 properties with this grant. It's first come, first served, so I gave it an extra day to get your things together for the people that aren't familiar with it. There's a burden of information that you got to bring to us. We got to dig through your things. It's a little invasive. I apologize. But we have to dot our I's and cross our T's for the state of Ohio to make sure that the proper people are beneficiaries, that all your taxes are paid up, water bills, you have insurance and things like that. So once you do apply, we'll be asking a bunch of questions as to your income and your assets and the people that live in your house, because all adult household members that wage earners, their income counts whether you charge your daughter for rent if they're in the home or whoever's earning in that home, that income counts towards that house. Just for an example, every year those income levels are given to us by Housing and Urban Development, and every year they adjust them one way or another. They haven't put out the 2025 income limits yet, or the 2024 income limits that we're going to be based on. So for a single family, you live by yourself, no other wage earners, $44,800. Family of four, $64,000. You got 8 people, it goes all the way up to $84,500. Every year they get adjusted. Most years they get adjusted. There's been years where it's been the same as the previous year, or they didn't put it out and they said refer to the previous year. But those are the figures this year. You're going to see in that packet it lists the 80% income bracket, which is what I gave you. It also lists the 50% income bracket. This year we don't have to worry about the 50% income bracket, which is way less, because we didn't get that type of funding. We got community development block grant funding and home investment partnership funding this year, not the Ohio Housing Trust Fund money that requires all of those participants to be under 50%. So anyone under 80% can qualify. There's 2 programs. There's the rehab program and the repair program. The rehab program does extensive work to bring the home up to Ohio residential rehab standards and national plumbing and electric codes and things like that. This program isn't like this isn't the home makeover program. A lot of people think they're gonna get royal blue siding and gold trim and copper gutters and things like that. That's not what this does. This looks at bringing the home up to code to make sure that it's safe electrically. We start the roof to make sure that the house is still standing. Actually, we start at the foundation first and foremost. And then we move to the roof, and then we move kind of to the rest of the house. For the rehab program, we have to take into account the lead-based paint as well. my staff. Fatima Burr, she's brand new. So she's my new office manager. If anybody's ever called the office, she's been with us about a year and 3 months. And Jeff Jones, he's one of yours. He's a Struthers guy. So if you have any questions, just go straight to his house.
What's your address?
He is one of the rehab specialists. So he doesn't have Struthers, but I asked him to come along. This is their first go around with this too. He writes specs. Fatima takes your information initially. She passes it to Cynthia, who may be here. I advertise this for 6 o'clock on the news. I made a grave error because I do this here, and I do it in Struthers, and I do it in Mahoning County. I couldn't get into Campbell. I couldn't get into Campbell until 6 o'clock next week. So I apologize for anybody that comes in late. I'll reiterate what I've already said if need be. But the rehab program looks at the foundation first, the roof, plumbing, electrical, heating, and then we go from there. And whatever we can do, my whole staff, all we do is sit around all day and talk about how we can try to get more for our participants. It's a need-based kind of investigation that we put on at the house. So if the foundation is bad, we reserve the right to walk away from any project because there are parameters. There's upper limits that we can go to when we can't afford to put $150,000 into a home. That would be half of the whole amount that Struthers got out of this grant. By going together as a partnership, Struthers had $300,000 available to them. Campbell has $300,000 available to them, and we have $400,000 available to them. So we've had projects this go round that range from 25,000 to we just finished one today in Campbell that ended up being almost $100,000. It wasn't all money from the CHIP grant though. So when I say that if you apply to us, we're going to try to get you as much as we can through our program. And if we can't service you, and Scott has a flyer here that we'll pass out to from Youngstown Neighborhood Development Corporation. They've asked us for our overflow list. They got some money from from Cincinnati Home Loan Bank, something like that. And they are making themselves available to the list that we don't get to. They asked us for our list. So beyond that, and the rehab side also included is Mahoning Youngstown Community Action Partnership will be in your home as part of our inspection process. If they see some things that they can do for you too, we refer you to them. So we try to go over and above and try to get as much for you as we can in that program, at the same time spreading the money so we can service as many people as we can. The other program is the repair program, and that's aimed at 1 or 2 systems in the home. Usually it's a roof or it's a electrical box, electrical upgrade, plumbing, furnace, things like that. It's supposed to take care of 1 or 2 things, but again, we try to go as far as we can with that money and not. We may do an electrical upgrade, which is going to run you anywhere between $1,800 to $3,000 or $4,000, and if you need a furnace, we'll try to kick that in, so we can stay under our maximum amount allowable, but still get you some things. But it's designed the way it's written to get you 1 or 2 major systems in your home. Usually it's, like I said, electrical, plumbing, heating, roof, sometimes windows, things like that. When we get all the apps in, say we get 50 apps, we're going to call the first 15 people that return their applications. We go out as a group to every home and look at those things. I'll tell you how this really benefited us in the last 2 years ago. We went out as a group. One of the very first homes we went to, um, we're walking through. She wanted to be in the repair program. We noticed her little calendar on the refrigerator, and she watched her grandkids. One of them Monday, Wednesday, the other one Tuesday, Thursday, what have you. And so automatically in my mind, because what we do, a big part of our grant program is the lead-based paint program. So you have to have a child under the age of 6. So immediately we switched gears. We did a very small repair job for her with the chip grant, and we gave her a lead grant instead of using all the chip money on that particular property. So, um, through her patience and the patience with us, we went out and evaluated all 15 applications in Struthers. We moved some things around, and we were able to service, I think, all the first 15 applicants. And I know I'm a first served. It feels like a competition, but we know that everybody pretty much in here that showed up today needs some kind of assistance at their house, and that's the way it is in our policy procedure. So um, we're going to pass these applications out. The first half of it, and I messed up again. Normally I do it in 2 pieces. So the first half of this application is what we can do for you. It talks about the 2 programs that we have available. It talks about my program and my staff's role and things like that. So if you call, there are numbers throughout here. If you call and have some questions, you can call me. You can call Fatima. You can call anybody that comes up on that menu when you call the home office, because we're all pretty well versed in what's going on. I know these 2 are the newbies, but they're pretty well versed in it as well. What we have to offer, what you need to bring, those types of things. We can all answer those questions pretty good, or you can simply call me. Also has the income limits in there, like I said. There's a frequently asked questions section. So if you have some simple questions, there's some answers right in there. And then it has the addresses where you can drop this stuff off. You can bring the application here. You can bring the application to my office, 108 Westchester Drive. It's in here. You could take it downtown. They're not as well versed as we are, so I would say bring it here. Bring it to my home office out in Austin. And then there's some required documentation here from the state of Ohio about fair housing. And incidentally, if you guys ever have fair housing issues or questions, you can call the Mahoney County Fair Housing Program. It's also on Mahoney County's website, Mahoney County Commissioner's website. You can find that. So the first 11 pages are informational, and normally that's where I separate the 2, but when you bring this back to me, do your best to keep it. I don't need the first 11 pages back. I just need 12 through 20. So do your best to keep these together after you rip that staple apart, or you can bring me the whole thing if you want to keep that for your information. Just do your best to do that. In the application, we're going to ask for, like I said, all persons living in the home, income. You're going to have to give us your employer's addresses because we have to verify third-party incomes and things like that. Social Security statements, we need that. There's a way if you're self-employed, we need your tax return, unemployment statements, child support. You asked about the earners over 18. If you don't have any income, there's ways to deal with that as well. But you just check that. We need a copy of your deed. You can get that from the county recorder's office. And then you start down the application, and it's names, addresses, phone numbers, employers. income amounts, other assets that you have, whether you have homeowners insurance or not, additional applicants, and there's some documents you have to sign. So it's not rocket science, but it's going to take you a minute to get some things together to get this back in, which is why we give you that extra day. I know that was a lot real fast, but anybody have any questions about what I've said so far? Let's start right here.
Okay, the deed, now, you can go to the website and print it up, or, because I don't, my house is paid for, but I don't know where the deed is.
County Recorder's Office has it.
You gotta go down here?
You gotta go down there, yeah.
You gotta go down there?
Yeah. Gotta go down there, Mahoney County Courthouse. It's at Market Street, what is it? 120 Boardman?
Oh, the courthouse.
Yeah, go down the courthouse, you go to, after you get through security, you go in the back left-hand corner and talk to somebody back there, they'll get you a copy of your deed. Because it's recorded in volumes and volumes of books, they can get you a copy of your deed.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All the information that you were just mentioning has to be turned in with the application.
You should do your very, very best to do that. If you're on the bubble, you don't know if you're going to qualify, you don't know if your taxes are due, whatever. If you have any questions, bring us as much information as you can, let us kick you out. You know what I mean? Bring it, we'll take a look through it. If you need something, we'll do our best to get to you what you need. You do your best to get it back to us, and we operate like that. If you're missing one document, I'm not throwing your application out because you're missing a document. But do your best. Don't just bring us the application, because that's not going to suffice. So bring us as much information as you can, and then we'll go from there. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, you can. Yeah. Yes. I don't need originals. Correct. As long as it's current. Your bank account information current. I don't need the numbers unless you want to share. No. But yeah, a little Sharpie. Yep. Yep. Your documents are secure. Most of the staff, I think, has HIPAA training. If for any medical information that comes through here, we're pretty discreet about our things. So.
I got a question, but it's part PPGC and part tax.
Bring all the statements you have. And what happens is you bring your pension statements or anything else. You also bring us your bank statements. And like I said before, it's a little invasive, but the federal government makes us do it. And we go through and look at deposits and things like that. Yeah, determine all that.
The deposits, so.
Yep. We prefer the actual income statements, but bring it to us and we'll wade through it.
I don't have any way of printing anything.
I'm sorry?
I don't have any way of printing anything.
Can you email it?
Yeah.
So I would get your application together and give us a call and say you need to email some stuff. If you can only get it electronically, we'll make that work. Yes, sir. She sorts it all out. She sorts it all out. So if you just got your tax return, that's not. My intake person is very adept at knowing what counts as income and not income. Yes, there she is.
Yeah.
This is Cynthia. Cynthia's going to be all on your business. Cynthia, right? She's our intake person. Those two work closely together, Fatima and Cynthia. Fatima usually gets the initial information, passes it to Cynthia. Cynthia looks through it, determines if you're eligible or not. She brings it to us, myself or Dan, and we approve it to go forward. After we start to amass some applications, we will contact, like I said, the first 15 or so, depending. And we'll go out and start there with those first 15, and then start putting people in different programs. Yes, Property taxes, you should be current or have a payment plan. So if you're back right now, when you're down there getting your deed from the recorder's office, stop in the auditor's office and or the treasurer's office, auditor or treasurer's office, and get sign an agreement, a payment agreement, and go from there. And that doesn't, I mean, that helps you as well. You don't want that to keep growing and growing and growing as it goes. Yes, ma'am. It is a 2-year grant. So we just are finishing up the 2022 grant last Friday. Actually, today we were out getting final signatures and things, but it ended last Friday. So this isn't all going to happen in April for you. You know, some projects you'll be accepted, but you won't start to get service until the fall or the spring of next year. But that's the beauty of us all going out and looking at these projects. If there's a big gaping hole in your roof, you're probably going to get service pretty quickly if you're approved. We kind of spread the rehabs out because, like I said, one rehab was 94 grand. You know, there's a lot of stuff that went into that project. It was a 3 or 4 week project. It's a lot to do, and we have contractors on our list. When you get to the point where you're approved and you get a project, we'll give you a list of contractors, and you get to pick the ones you want to bid or the whole list. All of our contractors are lead-based paint trained. Most of them are lead-based paint contractors, licensed lead-based paint contractors through the state of Ohio. The ones that aren't have a EPA renovation, repair, and paint program training. So they're all trained, conscientious. We're not going to send you Joe with a truck off the street. You also have the opportunity to write in a contractor at the bottom of our list when your project comes up to bid. The only issue with that is then that person has to qualify for our program, which is a whole contractor packet. So if you know somebody that is a contractor that enjoys this work, we also have the training program that trains these guys. We get a grant from the state of Ohio, $500,000 to train contractors. We're only 2/3 of the way through that money, and we've trained about 700 people since July of 2023. Yep, we'll come out. Depending which program you fall into. If it's the rehab program, the first thing that happens really is MyCap will send somebody out to do a combustion test on your furnace. We'll send a third-party lead-based paint risk assessor to find lead-based paint hazards before we even start. Then my staff will come out and write specs for everything that's going to be done, and they're very concise. What's in the specs will be reviewed with you before the project goes forward. You'll initial every spec, so you'll know everything that's going to happen. We don't fall for that. I didn't know that was going to happen stuff, because every spec that's in there gets initialed. There is change orders from time to time in the process, and those get approved by you and signed off by you as well. Then we put that packet out to bid to all of our contractors, and we take the lowest best bidder. It's not always the lowest. It may be the second one in line, but we also develop a work estimate as well. So they know they have to fall into those parameters. If our estimate's $50,000, they can't be more than 10% over that. If they come in 30%, if we have a in-house estimate of $50,000 and they bid $20,000, we're going to call them and ask them if they want to give the contract back, because we don't want our contractors not to make money, and we know that if it's supposed to be a $50,000 job and they think they can do it for $20,000, that they're not going to do a very good job. And we try to protect you guys in that fashion as well. So we bid it out to them. You'll get a notice to proceed. If it's lead-based paint stuff, then we'll relocate you probably for a couple of days. We have some contracts with hotels out in Boardman on Tiffany. So if there's lead-based paint involved, we'll relocate you for a time. The contractor will change the locks, so you can't get back in until the project clears by a third-party lead-based paint risk assessor. They'll come in and do dust wipe samples to make sure that there's the amount of lead dust in your house is less than what's allowable by Housing and Urban Development, HUPA. And then after the project, before they get paid, if there's lead-based paint involved, it has to pass that clearance. It'll be inspected by our inspectors, top to bottom, so every one of those spec items has been completed. You sign off on the job, the contractor gets paid by us through Mahoney County. On the rehab program, probably one of the most important parts, or the one that draws the most angst, is the lien that's put on the property. Under the rehab program, and this isn't because we want to, it's because Housing and Urban Development, it's a rule, but there has been an improvement to the rule that might make you a little less anxious. Years ago, there would be a lien put on for the amount of the project, and it would get forgiven at 17% a year for 5 years. And at the end of that 5 years, there was still 15% due on that home in perpetuity, forever. So if you sold your home 20 years later, you would still owe that last 15%. They've changed that rule since. Now it's forgiven at 20% a year for 5 years. At the end of that 5 years, you have to live there. It has to be your primary residence. At the end of that 5 years, there's no lien left. So it's free and clear. The lien will probably still sit there when you go to sell it. They'll ask us about it. We'll tell them it's down to 0, and you're free and clear after that 5-year period. If you leave in year 2 now, you still owe 60% of that loan back to City of Struthers, basically. That goes back into the program like this. It's called program income. They have some on hand right now. We'll use that in this grant as well with our CHIP grant money. That's not the case in the repair program. That's 100% grant. So that's another plus to be in the repair program. And I talk fast, so so.
Based on with your program that you go in, you base on what you come in and inspect and what you do when it's done. You can't choose whatever you're
Well,
doing.
say the home's in horrible repair, and financially we wouldn't be able to do it with the amount that you can spend for rehab. Sometimes we will try to position you so that if you do a repair, if you can get into the repair this year, maybe that knocks that cost down, and 2 years from now you can apply again. So we look at it comprehensively. If the repair, by our estimates, is going to be over $80,000, then we have to look at it whether it's feasible to do that with the money, because we don't want to get into a huge job and find out that all the sheathing on the roof needs replaced on this huge roof, and then you're looking at another $10,000 that we don't have because it's not in the cards for the program. So we look at it comprehensively like that, but we don't just stand at the curb and look at it and say, oh, we're not doing this. We'll look at it for realistically what we can get done for the price tag that we have and are able to spend. But then also, we try to get you into other programs as well. So if you needed a furnace, I'll go ask MyCap or some of the other housing programs in the area if they have money for a furnace. That'll take that, $3,000 or $4,000 right off of that. And then if you need something, if you need a furnace, I'll go to somebody. And we've gone to MyCap, we've gone to Building Neighborhoods of Youngstown. YNDC's done a lot for us. Demolition of garages, we can't do certain things with this money. but they've done demolition of garages. We've gone so far as to partner with the USDA, a USDA grant. We had a project in Beloit several years back where the USDA gave us $20,000 to do it. Anytime we can collaborate and kind of braid money together to cover those costs, we'll try to do that. But if it's not feasible, we'll be honest with you too. The last go around, we had to walk away from a hoarding situation. We gave her some time. We couldn't even inspect it. We gave her some time to get it cleaned up. We gave her a month. She did nothing. We gave her another 45 days. And finally, we had to send her a letter saying we're walking away. And that's just the nature of the beast in this case. So, and that could be a learning lesson. So that being said, if you have stuff in your basement that's been there for 50 years and you've never touched it, now's your chance to clean it up, before we get there. Don't do it all at once. But we'll be very honest with you without insulting anybody. But some situations are harder than others. But we also have some resources for hoarding situations too, and not even just hoarding situations. Sometimes there's clutter in the basement. This past go around we've had some pet issues in basements where they weren't cleaning up, and we told them, listen, before we expect people to come in here and work, we expect you to pitch in and clean. I gave a lecture to twin 15-year-olds last time over in Campbell. I said, you guys, your mom's looking at getting like 60 grand here. You guys are gonna, and their room when we walked in there was disgusting. They must have been just unwrapping the ramen noodles and eating them, and they were flying. There was ramen noodles and Fruit Loops and everything, and with the dog poop and all that stuff. And she was in the top, and she was kind of afraid to go upstairs to where they were at. I went up. I got a 13-year-old, so I was ready for it, but I wasn't ready for what I saw. But I said, you guys, you're gonna ruin this. Your mom has a chance to get this house to a place, and you guys will enjoy this. And so we gave her 30 days, and we went back, and it was spotless, right? It was spotless. So it can be done. It's going to require some effort on your part in some cases. Some cases will be cut and dry. There's projects where we went and just did a roof, and we were in and out. We did a sewer line here. I think what else? We did several roofs, some furnaces and things like that. Some people got windows, and we'll do what we can do to make your home a better living space. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. You talked about the painting. Do you side houses instead of painting?
Yes. Depending on the condition of the present siding, we do side. But it's if you have siding that's unsightly, that doesn't necessarily put you in the siding program. We'll come. That's what I said. It's not the home makeover, because we've had people that expected, they didn't like what their siding looked like, but it was intact, and I think the last time it was even vinyl. They just didn't like the way it was on their house that they had bought, 10 years ago, whatever. It's not for cosmetic issues. It's
Oh, no,
for
I'm just asking,
Yeah.
because I've seen homes around that, paint chips,
Yep.
but have not. So in lieu of painting, do you offer
we
siding?
would
as
we would try to side in lieu of painting in most cases, unless the wood's in great condition.
Right.
But if it's old chipping and peeling alligator paint, we do side in some cases. So we got a 1-year workmanship warranty. So our contractor, whoever did the job, will come back for 1 year. Say a piece of siding comes off. Other than that, the warranty is on the product itself. So you'll get, siding warranty, shingle warranty. I'm sorry. They'll give it to us, they're supposed to give it to you too, but they'll give it to us and we'll give it to you.
So we have it issued and we come to you and notify.
Within the year, you come to us. After that, you should have those papers in your hand, for those, you know, if it's a faucet that goes bad or,
And then I have another question. That's just when you will, or what? Because I know my system's broken.
is it,
Set tile, settle.
we'll have to take a look at it. We have done asbestos abatement, at times. We have done like a basement floor that was cracking and stuff like that. So we'll take a look at it. Has it been tested?
No, I
Just no.
pretty sure it has to.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll take a look at it and act accordingly.
And then my first question is, when we do see property values are not the repairs for them, or
Um,
have to go up.
The good part about this is, it doesn't add value as far as your taxes and that assessment by the county. It doesn't, because of the nature of the money, HUD says this money, so if you had a house that was worth 50 grand and we put 60 grand in it, it doesn't automatically make the house worth 110. It's for our purposes, it stays exactly as what it says. And we use the auditor's estimate, so, there are other, parameters that we have to follow. The house can't be worth a certain amount, more than a certain amount. And I can't remember exactly what that number is because we rarely come up against it. I want to say it went up to 214. It's wrong in the home rate agreement. It still says 115. It used to be 115,000, but they had made adjustments to that too. So I think it's closer to 200,000 now, and we can't touch it if your house is worth up to 90% of what that number is. So your house could be, if it's at, I think it's at 213. Let's just say it's at 200, then your house can't be worth more than 180,000 and allow us to come in and fix it. But we checked that with the auditor's website, and normally we don't come up against that. Very often. Yeah, I'm sorry. We do look at mold for sure. We wouldn't normally come and do just a mold job. That would have to be an aside to a major system in the home. So if we came and we're doing, because we have to get in there by doing something they allow us to do, and then we could slide some other things in there. So we wouldn't be able to just come do a mold project. But if you were in need of a furnace and a hot water tank, then sometimes we would add that black mold in, as a peripheral item. Yes, ma'am? Mm-hmm. There'll be a line out front. Cat will be there with her safety vest on and a flag.
No, so Friday, that's when everything kind of gets hectic around here. So we have some people who are going to have to use the back door because they're handicapped. They can't come up the steps. So we're going to basically go off the honor system. Whoever lines up here, we can go back to the cameras to review who was here first. So if we have people that are parked outside or waiting to get in the backside, because the doors won't open until 8. No matter what, they won't open until 8. Bob and I will be here well before then just to be able to see who's coming in first. So whoever comes in the back door, we're going to probably give a number to as to where you're at in line. If we need to review cameras, we will review the cameras, but we're hoping that when we go out, you tell us when you got here. Go ahead.
So what if you take 25 and 7 or 12 of them aren't eligible?
Then we keep moving.
Then we keep going.
That's why I said turn.
Turn them in, or is
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
So
they can
that's
still
why I
turn
said turn them in and let us throw you out.
Yeah, and they can even be turned in after that. You don't have to be here at the 8 o'clock deadline. I just know this is such a well-received program that we always have a line. I mean, it's all the way out to the street, pretty early. We have had people there at 6 in the morning, so we're gonna navigate that.
The back door will be locked, and
Yeah.
only handicapped people will be able to access through the back door. Everybody else will have to come through the front door.
But you are taking all of them.
Yes, we will. Anybody that turns them in, we'll take them no matter what, because we till whenever. We could take them Monday if we need to take them Monday. So we'll get them to him whenever needs. I also wanted to mention that I'm not sure if anybody's aware, but we received $2.75 million to buy 8 brand new built homes. Once we buy those homes from the builder, we're gonna get to keep whatever we make off those homes, and we wanna put that money back into home repairs. So we're hoping after this year, because those houses are gonna go up this year, after this year, we're hoping to add to that pot of 300,000 so that we'll have more to use, because we know this is something that the city needs. I mean, we have a full house here, so we're trying to put more money back into this because it's such a great program for our residents. And we wanna thank Phil also for being here every year and dealing with all of our residents. Strothers is a feisty group, and they've been here, I don't know how many years we've been doing this now, but it has helped a lot of people in the city, and we recognize that there's a need there. So we work hand in hand with them. So anything they need, they call us. If any of you guys get out of hand, we show up.
You guys are a lot more well-mannered than the camel people.
So we just want to say thank you to them for showing up, and then and also we're gonna pass these out too, but don't get this. This is completely separate from this program. So we're gonna pass these out too. So this is not the chip. This is something different that you can try to apply for.
It's not the 75 people there.
No, we got about a lot of homes there.
Folks, I live in Struthers on Wilson. If you don't have homeowners insurance, I'm an insurance agent. Please do not let that deter you from applying. I'm in the office the rest of the week. Give me a call. Here's a few of my cards. If anybody needs it.
Great, well, thank you very much. Yes, ma'am.
Hold up, we got a question.
You mentioned that you're only taking 15 applications. Is that correct?
We're gonna start with the first 15 till we spend that money out.
Okay. So you're saying you're taking applications also at your office and in here?
Uh-huh.
And downtown?
Nobody really goes downtown because just there. Here's your basic spot.
We will timestamp everything. So we'll make sure all the times are written on all the applications.
Yeah. If you have, yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Hold up, please.
Quiet.
Yeah, because it'll still be recorded downtown. Yeah, whether you have a loan or not. So make sure you grab one of each of these. As well. Paris. 144. Yeah, we just did 19. Yeah.
If you
You're
guys
not
want
coming
to
back, are
filter
you?
out
We
this
did
way, that way you can grab both, because I know everybody's further in the back.
We did the lead.
Yeah, good luck with
No,
it.
we did lead. We did lead. Yeah. You're welcome. Nobody's taking
Make sure you turn in all your documentation. Yeah, just turn in all your documentation. Turn in all your documentation. We'll give you this one. She hasn't. Check in all your documentation. All your documentation. Make sure you turn it in. Make sure you turn in all your documentation that we requested on that packet, okay? Here, this is extra. It's an extra one, okay. All right, oh, you with her, okay. All right, good deal, good deal. All right. Make sure you turn in all your documentation that we requested, okay? You're with her, okay. sure you turn in all your documentation. And you ask about the taxes, you don't count the tax. You mean your refund?
Come to you.
Come on through.
You're being neglected.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sweetheart. I'm going this way.
We're running off more copies of the other paper.
Well, it may be, just tell me that you just want a copy. You don't, it doesn't have to be certified. Just a copy, okay? Make sure you turn in everything that's in the paper.
They're making more.